Stephanie White lays out Fever's clear problem after collapse against Sparks. The Los Angeles Sparks rallied for an 85-75 victory over the short-handed Indiana Fever at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, erasing a 10-point deficit near the start of the fourth quarter and snapping a 4-game skid. Azura Stevens led all scorers with 23 points, hauling in 7 rebounds and dishing 3 assists, while Kelsey Plum added 21 points and 6 assists, punctuating the Sparks' fourth-quarter surge. Indiana, missing star Caitlin Clark due to a nagging groin injury, saw its third collapse in 4 games when leading by double digits in the second half, prompting pointed questions for coach Stephanie White after the game. When asked why her team has failed to close out games as of late, White was blunt. "I think that we haven't shown a killer instinct yet. We have had a tendency to relax in those moments instead of, for lack of a better term, go for the kill," White said. "We've had empty possessions where we've been too lax with the basketball and have either taken poor shots or not valued every opportunity we have to score. We've had breakdowns on the defensive end of the floor. It's moments of mental lapses or mental relaxation that you can't have in this league." With a loss, the Fever fall to 7-8 on the season, now tied with the Washington Mystics and just a few games above the bottom-dwelling Chicago Sky and Connecticut Sun in the Eastern Conference. With 8 matchups between now and the All-Star break on July 19th, corrective measures are urgent. Next up, Indiana heads out on the road to face the Dallas Wings on Friday, looking to prove that Thursday's collapse was an outlier rather than a trend.
Had a fourth quarter lead slip out of your hands. Have you noticed a theme in those quarters of something you guys are doing wrong that's getting these games away from you?
Man, I think we're trying to figure it out. You're right, we've had double-digit leads going into the fourth, and then we just let it slip. And so for us, we got to be better from top to bottom. We have to have better energy, better focus. And at the end of the day, like, we've shown that we can do it. It's all about consistency, and we're trying to give each other grace and patience, but at some point you gotta dig in and say enough is enough.
Tonight, fourth quarter, they had 35 points, I believe. What did you see defensively go wrong for you guys down the stretch?
Man, I mean, they were running a play where a little brush screen at the bottom. They're tall, you know. We try to go small ball, but again, at some point we got to take ownership and say no. You know what I mean? And we just didn't do that. And we're going to be better from it. We're going to learn from it. It's going to make us tougher, but we have to flip that switch. It's getting to this part of the season where we can't just be like, hey, like next game. No, like we got to make the correction and do it quick.
Yeah, Sophie, I wanted to ask about that late foul that got called on you that turned into that 5-point swing.
The one that was a foul or the one that wasn't? Anyway.
Yeah, just how did that swing really affect?
Killed us. I mean, if I'm going to be playing the 4, I got to do a better job. I gotta box out. I got to get into her legs. She's tall, but that can't be my excuse, right? Like I got to outwork her, and so I have to be better in that area. And I'll learn, and I will be better.
Aaron, your first game back in a while for you with this team. How'd you feel just being out there and just continue to build chemistry with this unit?
It felt good to be out there, but just not satisfied. We let this one slip away from us. We got to be more focused and disciplined, especially in the fourth quarter. And just think we just can't. We have to have foul discipline. Like we can't give up like soft fouls in the fourth quarter and then they're in the bonus. It just comes down to executing and just guarding our yards and adjusting and making teams do something different.
Well, Barry, did you were you confident you were going to be back here this summer?
I was.
I think most people were, but were you? And how did you react when you, I guess, got the key phone call?
I was excited for sure, and I knew I was confident I was going to come back. I had talks with Kelly and Amber and Coach before leaving, and it just felt like it was a place to be. I loved the girls; they're amazing. Good basketball players with better human beings. Love the staff, and it just really felt like home. So I'm excited to just play for this organization, just keep building chemistry and getting better.
So what's kind of been the attitude here as you guys are in the midst of this grind of a schedule, and also on top of that, having these continuous disruptions? How do you bond and stay together during this rough patch?
Yeah, I think so far this season we've had a lot of distractions, you can call it, some injuries. Don't know who's playing. And so there's just a lot of distractions, but I think that's really good for us. Let's go through the adversity early. Let's learn from it. Good news is we're not going to peak too early, so I mean that's a positive. But I think it's not an excuse. Everyone's playing a back-to-back. Everyone has this kind of rough schedule. For us, we get another opportunity tomorrow, and we got to capitalize on it. Dallas is a team that's hungry for a win, and we talk about this. We are circled on everybody's schedule. No one likes us, right? So everyone in our locker room, that's the only type of people that we have that we can lean on, and we got to be better in that area. We have got to stay disciplined. We have to stay focused. We need to get consistent, and we got to lean on each other. And I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands, but as one of the leaders on the team, I got to do a better job of grouping people, right? In the fourth. It's going to kill us, right? Like they scored 35 points, I think you guys said. That just cannot happen. Can't happen. Or if they do, then we need to be scoring 35, 36, 37 points. So we just got to be better from top to bottom. But the schedule thing, that's just an excuse. We're in this league. We're pros, and you got to be a pro, and tomorrow we got to bring it.
For the third time last 4 games, you guys have double-digit second half lead, even fourth quarter, and can't close. What to you is there thematically that's gone on in these games that you guys haven't been able to finish?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we haven't shown a killer instinct yet, and that's we have had a tendency to relax in those moments instead of, for lack of a better term, go for the kill, right? We've had empty possessions where we've been too lax with the basketball and have either taken poor shots or not valued every opportunity we have to score. We've had breakdowns on the defensive end of the floor. It's moments of mental lapses or mental relaxation that you can't have in this league.
Tonight specifically, they had 35 in just the fourth quarter. What did you see defensively break down in that period?
Lack of communication. We had a lot of people in gray areas. Lack of discipline to our coverages. We just lack of physicality. I think they scored 3 times in a row in the same play, and there was zero communication. And just like any good team, you go back to it, right? You continue to go back to it. Fouling, undisciplined fouling, all of those things that we have to be better at. I mean, that's something that we've struggled with throughout the course of the season is just the undisciplined fouling and putting teams to the free throw line. And then we had empty possessions offensively. We weren't organized always, turning the ball over at critical moments, not getting high percentage, high quality shots, allowing their physicality to affect us.
Yeah, you mentioned that sequence where they scored 3 times in the one play. Just how did that, him be getting the rebound, getting the foul, and Steve was getting the rebound, getting the foul? How did that kind of take the air out of you guys?
Well, those are 2 different things. The 3 times that they scored on the cross screen with Azrae Stevens was more about our execution to coverage. The offensive rebounds did, and part of that's on me. I should have had a big in there to make sure that we were rebounding on the free throw line. But just attention to detail, right? Making sure that we're pushing back. You can't just be in front of someone and try to jump up and get a rebound and expect to get a call. There's got to be a level of physicality that we have to box out. We have to push them back. If I remember correctly, I think Hamby's was off of a missed shot. We were in a rotation, and we got to be disciplined to finish plays.
Stephanie, you've been dealing with a lot of different lineup changes throughout the season. How do you maintain a certain level of consistency throughout all of that with, like you said, hard play and execution, things of that nature?
Well, with the injuries particularly, you can't really maintain a consistent rotation. So, it's just something that we're not necessarily always reinventing the wheel. But at the same time, when you've got such a ball dominant player like Caitlin, out of the game, who makes everybody's job a lot easier, then you've got to find ways to try to position them to get some easy ones, which means that our screen setting has to be elite. Our ability to keep spacing and be slow into and quick out of screening actions. The gaps close a lot quicker, so our decision making has to be better. And the ball's got to move. I felt like the ball got stuck. We held it a lot. We kept it on one side of the floor a lot. We didn't really make them work side to side defensively.
You mentioned that killer instinct. How much does that even go back to that second quarter? I think they went 9 minutes without scoring, and I think the lead was just like 4 at that point. And then to the other part, though, I think 11 first half steals. What did you like about the intensity on that end?
Yeah, I think after they punched us in the mouth, we responded defensively and we were able to get out in transition and get some easy buckets. we've got to continue to do that. And we don't always have to get offense from our defense, but it starts our break. It allows us to get out and to do what we want to do. Now, we don't run quite as much without Caitlin on the floor, but we still need to be able to and get out and get some easy ones. But yeah, I think that period where they went like 9 straight and we only scored 5 points. We've got to be able to take advantage right there. And sometimes it's not always taking the first shot. It's making sure we get the best shot. It's making the defense guard multiple actions. I felt like during that stretch, we either turned it over or we took quick ones that were maybe contested ones. It's an area of growth for our team, and it has been. And we got to find a way to flip the switch and be able to approach every single possession for 40 minutes with an intention and with an intensity and sense of urgency.
You're up by 10 points right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Was there a sense at all that you could make a difference there, pull away a little bit, or that you might have things were going the way you wanted them to, and that would not end up this way?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge for our group, is when we do get up double digits, we've got to be able to put teams away. And what does that look like? Being able to manage the game offensively, being able to dig in and get stops defensively. Number one on our scouting report was protecting the paint, and they 42 points in the paint. That's not good enough. We got to be better as coaches and preparing them for that, and we got to be better executing it.
Let's see where Indiana Fever loosed the game in fourth quarter.
Indiana has that 8-point lead as we start the fourth quarter. Petty nearly lost it, able to save it. Shot clock already down to 5. Barker drives on Cunningham, flips it up, bank shot too strong, and Boston pulls down her 9th rebound. Oh, spinning, gets it inside to Howard, who lays it in.
It's a great job by Howard.
Leading scorer behind Mitchell. Backdoor pass knocked away. Inbound underneath, Stevens is bumped. Azare Stevens lays it in with an and one. And knocks down the free throw, cuts the lead to 7. It open. Feeds inside, Boston one bounce, too far underneath. Cunningham able to save it. Boston on a repost, splits the double team, offensive foul. Boston just 6 points here tonight, coming off her career high of 31. Stevens deep position, 2 more. It's a little 5-0 Azare Stevens burst, and she's trimmed the deficit in half. Here's Cunningham, drives and draws the foul. Here is Mitchell on the drive into a quadruple team, nearly turned it over.
See them starting to just sink into the paint a little bit more.
Oh, catch and shoot and connects. Big bucket for Indiana.
Screen by Boston to free her up.
Once again, they go to Stevens. And one. And Stevens misses her first free throw up. Fisa Collier and Azare Stevens is the 3rd.
Yeah, I think Azare's having her best season. She had a complete offseason. She was healthy. At 6'6", she's got range beyond the three-point line.
Austin has good position down there. Fever trying to find her. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Colson, lob inside and a hold. That, and Colson tried to repay the favor, and she's called for the foul.
Colson's like having another coach on the floor. So competitive, so aware of the schemes, and a great voice in practice.
Jackson from the mid-range. On to 4, still so much time left to play here.
Plum on Mitchell.
Howard inside, too far for Boston, just missed her.
Got to read the weak side D.
Hamby gives it back, beautiful find. Jackson couldn't finish at the rim. Stevens lost the handle. Fever catch a huge break. Now it's Hull out and running.
Well, you had Mitchell for a 3.
Here's Hull. Boston pulls down the rebound, her 10th of the night. Boston's going to go to work here. She's got all sorts of space. Draws the foul. Well, it's got to be an and one. Stevens saying it's offense.
They've gone back to the bigger lineup now.
Boston, handoff. Mitchell knocks it down.
I mean, it's easy money for
Again tonight, her 6th 20-point game of the year. Hamby working the baseline, and Boston called for the foul.
easy money.
And Hamby. This game, something between a 1 and a 10-point lead for Indiana.
Yeah, it's been a 2 or 3 possession game the whole way.
Boston through a double team, gets it up, draws the foul.
Usually when Caitlin's on the floor, it's more space, more cutting, scoring cuts, better floor balance, all of that. And without Caitlin, the space really changes as LA continues to shrink into the paint, except for the Kelsey Mitchell matchup. And you know that LA is going to be in trouble.
Everything running through Hamby here lately for LA. Plum shot fakes the 3. The switch on to Boston. She'll drive into her, sees a quadruple team, and Stevens knocks down a triple.
As a Ray Stevens.
From the floor. That was her first 3. Hole on the handoff, hole on the drive. Got too far underneath. Jackson has her trap, shot clock down to 1. Boston didn't see it. Quarter.
Good aggressive switch by Howard.
Plum on the drive, Plum to the rim, Plum lays it in.
Such a good take, the lefty going right.
It's a 14-6 run here from the Sparks to get back within 2. Boston on Hamby. Plum showing help. Boston flips it up off the mark. Hamby spinning on Boston. Kick out Plum. Launches and hits a contested 3. And Kelsey Plum has given LA their first. And the Sparks are on a 17-6 run. Hole thought about it, finds McDonald on the drive, Cunningham, extra pass, Mitchell sidestep. Oh, everything but the finish. Hole back to and again, fouls here are free throws. Put the Sparks up by 3 here.
Line by Kelsey Plum. Supposed to be relaxing. I don't know, I've seen a lot of free throw shooters take a deep breath, cleansing breath. She puts a smile on her face.
Cunningham, feet inside. Boston, good position and draws the foul.
I mean, zip it in there.
Kept Boston out of a rhythm, but that pass could not have been any better.
I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Kelsey Plum here for LA to close out this game, and I think Kelsey Mitchell for the Fever.
Aaliyah Boston now with 10. She's got a double-double. Stevens catches, rolls, and finishes.
She's been able to get deep.
Here's McDonald, blows by Plum, lays it in, and a foul. McDonald back in Indiana.
Under challenge on the defense in transition.
Another really good night for the Fever from the foul line, 83%. All level with under 3 minutes to play. Petty being hounded.
After a preseason training camp.
Oh, Jackson, and what an ATO there by Lynn Roberts and LA. Handoff, Boston, fire away. Leaves the 3-ball shorts. Cunningham out to Hedge, the switch on to Plum, drives into Cunningham, Plum spins, up and under with the scoop shot.
So good going left. It was a good X out by Plum.
Fever been outscored 25-13 in the 4th. They lost a couple double-digit leads on the road. Led briefly by...
She's looking to be aggressive.
Well, really impressive because as points per game, which is 4th in the league.
And she didn't get to the free throw line until late in the third quarter.
Well, there's 3 big. Petty looking inside for Stevens. Fever cut it off. Cross-court pass. Jackson. Hamby. Shot clock down to 5. Hamby on the drive. Boston 6 with her. Here is Plum. Can she create? Gets by Boston. Flips it up. Oh, there's a foul called. A foul is called. And before the shot clock, looking at a comeback attempt here to try to snatch this one. And Plum hits the first free throw. Makes it a 3-point game. They did add a second onto the clock. 2 free throws there for Plum. She's got 20. And the lead off the screen on the drive. Kick out Hull. Cunningham swing it. McDonald inside Boston. Deep position and lays it in.
Great ball movement. Really good job and a good seal.
Petty inside Stevens. Oh, McDonald got hands in there and forced the jump ball.
Great anticipation.
Here tonight. Plum leans in. Handoff Jackson. Bank shot skips around. Hamby the rebound. Foul and an and one.
Too many foul.
And with a rebound, have a chance to tie or take the lead. The lead still at 4. Stevens pulls down the rebound in an and one.
This small lineup at the end of the
here. Fever get a stop. And then that turns into a 5-point possession. Donald saves the possession. Boston a step back 3. Too strong.
Got a foul.
An offensive rebound, a bucket, a missed free throw, and an and one. 5 points on the possession. And the Fever on the verge of falling to 2 and 4 in their games without Caitlin Clark.
Through the elevator door screens. Mitchell not open.
Cunningham launches way too strong. How about this Sparks 4th quarter? 11 of 14 from the field. Another big sequence in this game when Indiana briefly got that lead to give the Sparks a little momentum going into the 4th. Kayla Timpson in with the tip back, and she draws the opening night. Azure Stevens comes down with the rebound. And an emphatic comeback for the Sparks. Disappointing night for Indiana. Two coaches meet at center courts.